I was putting some dye on my hair and just, reflecting and doing some meditation, which is anything that quiets the lower self so that you can kind of align with your higher self and just observe thoughts and feelings and emotions. So as I'm doing, dyeing, I'm thinking about, not dyeing my hair. I'm thinking about, my healing journey and psychology and all of these ways that I'm trying to figure out my spiritual teaching path is going to go, because a lot of times I don't feel like I belong in either the spiritual community nor the mainstream community, because I just have my own way of doing things, and it always comes back to what balance is for me. And I feel like balancing is like I envision more of a scale. And so it's like, I don't want to be too much on one end of the spectrum, and I don't want to be too much on the other end of the spectrum. I feel like it's like a dance, and you got to find the perfect harmony of merging the two, of integrating the two, because at the end of the day, we're still living in this world. And until the world just changes in the blink of an eye, we're going to always have to know how to balance the energies around us as well as the ones within us. And so as I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I decode and tweak and reframe things? Everything has the capability to evolve. And so my motto is about balance is key, but it's about embracing and accepting the traditions and the ancestral traits that are rooted within you, while tweaking them to evolve a little bit into more healthier ways, more ways that uplift you and may not hold you down, without doing it because someone tells you should do it. Because a lot of times we don't know if that's coming from a place of they know what's up, they know truth, or they feel that we need to be changed or we need to be fixed or we're the broken ones. And in that balance of also being able to accept that sometimes there is a better option, or there is an alternative that has less of an impact on my spirit. And so you just kind of have to sit with yourself and start to have self-trust and know, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And I'm just going to give you a simple example, because while I was doing my hair, I was thinking about just hair, and I'm like, oh, I love this. I'm in love with this product. Oh, this is working really good for my hair. I don't know what texture it is, labeling, who cares what that is. That fuels all kinds of emotions. But I'm like, it's so weird how even in like just the natural hair community, there's always these pressures of being Black. I feel like in our community, we put so much pressure on each other because we see all of us as a reflection of ourselves, instead of allowing autonomy and sovereignty, because we're so connected, and that connection of a people has what sustained us to survive. But it's like we have to allow people now to branch out and be the ones to be the pioneers to uplift us. And we have to do that. We have to allow people to come out of their spiritual closet and do what they feel like is going to elevate them to lead others. And so with that, it's just like, the hair community is kind of like, you can't, it's either, oh, you're all natural and everything, you don't use silicones, parabens, all of these things, you straight fruits, berries, oils, and essential oils and herbs, or it's like you straight, I like all, I don't care what it is, I'm putting it in my hair if it works. And it's kind of just like, why can't it be in the middle? Why can't it be, I just use what works? And if it happens to have silicones in it, it has silicones in it. If it happens to be made by a white person, it's made by a white person. If it happens to be from Family Dollar, it's from Family Dollar. If it happens to be all natural herbs and made with spiritual intentions, it is. If it happens to be just, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't have to always be so boxed, or it's either you make this decision or you're this way. You either make that decision or you're that way. And it's like all of this ostracizing and exile. And this is not to talk down on the Black community, because like I said, a lot of things within our community has been learned behavior. So this is what we've experienced. And so we have mirrored people always try to make it seem like it's a parenting thing. It's an inner child thing. Yeah, it is, but that's not the root of it. And that's why we never get to the solution. We're deflecting. People have a hard time accepting that they're the problem. America has a hard time accepting that they're the problem. The slavery, the history of slavery, it has a hard time of accepting that. And so in turn, it gets into deflecting a lot and making it seem like, this is an issue of your parents. This is an issue of your home, your environment where you live in the hood or whatever. I'm like, what made the hood? What made the hood the way it is? What made my parents the way they are? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not about not taking accountability. Yes, you have to take accountability for how you treat others, but it's about understanding and building compassion within a group of people who have been suffering for centuries without any healing intervention. And it's like, when you embark and you make the choice that you're ready to heal, people don't understand all of the constructs that you have to break down, all of the resisting thoughts and feelings and internalized guilt, shame, self-judgment, fear, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of being ostracized from your own people because, if I start doing this, they're not going to like me. If I start doing this, I ain't a real nigga. I ain't that. I'm not a spiritual person. All of these things on both ends of the spectrum, from the people who are considering themselves so evolved and spiritual, and from the people who are, labeled as, not evolved and sleep or hood or, ignorant. It's on both ends of the spectrum. So people don't realize how traumatizing poverty is, how traumatizing living engulfed in a community where everybody has no drive, no will, so much hopelessness, so much helplessness, so many insecurities, so many defenses and masks and personas to carry themselves through life. And what I want you guys to do is we have to transcend the people who are trying to tell us how to be when they are part of the problem, when they are part of descendants who created the environment that we're surviving through now. And it's like, the history of psychology is rooted in almost like this perspective of life as a simulation. And you put everybody in this life experience, and everybody is running around through their life experience, human experience, whatever. And some people are given bonuses, and some people are given cheat codes, and some people are given level up codes where they can get to a whole new level and rise up, and then other people are left to figure it out and fend for themselves. And not only are they not getting advances, but they're getting blocks. Oh, you can't go that way. Oh, you can't go that way. And it's like, you wonder why they feel the way they feel. You wonder why they do things they do. And then what you do is you create a whole area of study that critiques how they have evolved, that critiques how they have adapted, that critiques how they have learned how to cope with life. And what do you think that does? Honestly, you have to ask yourself, what do you think with the rooted psychological constructs, what do you think that does to a Black person who have been subjected to suffering? And yeah, I get it. You can try to, everybody handles trauma differently. So some people have taken that pain and they fueled it into like passion and drive and will, but that has also turned into like, they can turn into other things. But then guess what? That is then also critiqued when the Black people pull themselves up from their bootstraps, and when they become, workaholics and they're in their grind mode, then you get these other judgments and connotations that then keeps them down for that. It's Black people actually have to have bravery to be confident, to be successful, to be hardworking, to be detail oriented, to be assertive. We don't feel comfortable even being good, and we don't even feel comfortable being successful because there's always something that is effing with our psyche, or, for the people who resonate with spirit like me, is effing with your spirit. And your spirit is what gets you going. Your spirit is your will to do anything. And when you're constantly being pulled in one direction, that direction, and you don't have that sustainability, that core essence of worth, of value, of esteem. If you don't have that, you're going to be pulled and pushed in so many places. Your feelings are going to be toyed with. Your emotions are going to be all over the place because you're going to be constantly seeking the validation and approval and the affirming of who you are. When you have to know that you are who you are a product of your environment, but you have the will, you have the ability to be able to change that a narrative. You have the control to change the end of your story. You don't have to be a product of your trauma. You don't have to be a product of your environment. You don't have to go with the ways that you have coped with thus far. But don't throw away everything. Learn how to accept it and know that a lot of your coping mechanisms have kept you going thus far. So that's what I'm saying. It comes to a balance, and that's how you dismantle the constructs of psychology. And how a lot of times that's why Black psychology came out, because it was kind of seeing life from a more of a perspective of people who have been suffering. Because it's like, how do you have the audacity to tell me how I'm effed up, but you're a part of this society that I live in, this environment that I live in is what has created the effed up situation. It's kind of like being a child in an abusive home, and your parent is constantly yelling at you, calling you all kinds of names, beating you every day, starving you of food, telling you can't play, and then telling you, why are you so messed up? Why you doing this? Why? Or if you still thrive, oh, you just think you bruh, I can't win for losing. You always feel like you're in a rock and a hard place. And it's like, that's why I say, as a Black person who has roots, deep roots, who is probably of the first in the generations to pioneer and go outside of the grain and outside of what has been predestined for us, what has been prescribed of us as a people, that there is going to be a lot of resistance. There is going to be a lot of mental resistance. And it's not necessarily always the people around you, but you are in that community. You are all connected in some way. So, but don't focus on is that person. Figure out that inner turmoil within yourself, and know that a lot of those voices and that energy and those spirits, whatever, that's within you. That is something that you have to figure out on your own. How can you conquer it? How can you train it and reprogram it and rewire it and quiet that defensiveness? Because I'm telling you from personal experience, you're going to go through defensiveness. You're going to go through resistance. You're going to go through denial, skepticism, cynicism, all of these feelings of distrust, because we have been rooted in distrust from slavery. Like, we don't feel safe, and you have to learn how to feel safe and know that you are always divinely guided and protected by God. And you have made it through this far, and your people have sustained, and they've gone through so many trials and tribulations. But what you have to know is what they didn't have, what was stripped of them, was their free will and their sense of self-worth. And you have to build that, go on a journey it's a journey, it's a destination. So take it slow. But the main core construct that you have to get in your head is all the selves. You have to build self-esteem. You have to build self-worth, self-value, self-acceptance. And know that no one can sit here and critique you, because while they're so focused on how to fix us and they're deflecting, like theirs don't stink, or they will never see their own faults. And they're so busy worrying about that. And, even more fueling us with these feelings, which, I'm not saying that all these teachers have bad intentions. They may have good intentions, but it's like a lot of times when you're not living it, you don't have the capacity to have the compassion or empathy, or your delivery is not empathetic enough or compassionate enough to truly see how it's suffering. And the tone is almost passively aggressive or passively judgmental, or just this feeling of you're broken or you need to be fixed. And or sometimes it's like, oh, there's nothing we can do. Don't even bring up nothing about me or my people if you tell me you don't have a solution for it. And just be mindful of tactics that make you blame other people. Because I get it, we have abuse in our community, but a lot of times we don't have accountability for ourselves as well. Why is this abuse happening? Leaving and running from every negative thing that happens to you is going to just continue this cycle, because what you don't realize is happening. It's a wound. It's an ancestral trait. It's an ancestral pattern that you're carrying on. And if you don't get to the bottom of why you keep running into that same situation, you're just going to keep reliving it. I've been in almost every type of abusive relationship you can think of: physical, mental, psychological, emotional, just all types of guys: the womanizer, the narcissist, the nonchalant, the down low, who's verbally and physically abusive, the rebound person who is dealing with their own internalized insecurities, who has false confidence, all of these things that we have. But do I sit back and blame those men for what I allowed myself to be subjected to and for who they are? I honestly send all of them love and light, and I honestly don't blame them. And people may think, oh, this girl throw it off. They done beat her brains or she ain't making no sense, or she just, she's stuck in the mind trap of what no. You have to start, when you get out of the matrix, you truly start to know that it's not a gender, thing. It's not like a black man thing. It's nothing to hate on. It's just the physical attributes is not the issue. It's the energy that we're holding within ourselves. It's the wounds that we're carrying along that is constantly perpetuating and repeating these dysfunctional cycles of abuse and neglect and just stagnation, just being stuck down and rooted in suffering. It's almost hard to thrive or get out of that suffering, because we've coped with it for so long. It has sustained us in a sense of comfort, or just normalcy. We have normalized it to survive so much. We have dissociated so much to survive that it's hard to let go of something that has, you can look around and be like, hey, I'm not so bad, ain't nothing really wrong with me. And it's not about being wrong, but it's like you have to look around and say, okay, I feel like this. I go through depression. I go through anxiety. I just feel like, I'm not motivated to do anything. And that's when you have to, like I said, if you feel like it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't. I'm not talking to those type of people. I'm talking to the people who are ready to make a change in their lives and, just reflecting on the healing. I want to give you guys grace, compassion, and empathy and love. And just know that I'm literally right along on this journey with you guys. I'm not God. I'm not a guru. I'm not a saint. I'm not perfect. I'm perfectly imperfect. I'm dealing with a lot of things. I have so many traits. We have all, not just black, developed types of personality traits and things to cope in this world. We have been of the world so long that now we're transitioning to be just in the world and learning how to balance the energies around as well as within ourselves. And so with that, it's gonna be a lot. It's a whole new way of being. You're gonna question, man, this some bullshit. This stuff don't work. What all that spiritual stuff? What is the heck is it? You're gonna go through. I'm telling you, you're gonna go through all of it, whether it's you or the energies around you. I'm just telling you now, you're gonna go through all of these things, maybe. But I just want to prepare you. That's why my motto is always about stay in the driver's seat. Stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready. Because when you driving and you on the road, you ain't got to question where you going. Like you got the GPS. GPS is God. You trust in him and you let him lead you, and you confident. You got that security. You got the passengers like your spirit team or just yourself and just your higher self just guiding you, and that ability to see things from a higher perspective that makes the trip easier and funner and with more joy. Then, and while in the back seat or on the radio, is all of the things that don't have control. People in the backseat, they don't got control over what you can do unless you allow them to pipe up and put their 2 cents in. The radio, it don't have the power to stay on if you don't want it to be on no more. You can turn it off. You can turn the station. You can put your own CD in there. You can put your own, I'm old school. You can, you can put your own, cassette tape. I don't care what kind of car you got. You can hook your phone up to it and Bluetooth your music on there. The point is, you don't have to subject yourself to all of the energies and thoughts in your head that keep you down. Because in healing, it's about dismantling that mindset that is of limit, that mindset that is of lack, that mindset that is of scarcity, that mindset that is of only surviving, which surviving isn't bad, but it's a balance of knowing how to survive as well as thrive. You know what I'm saying? So it's about shifting out of that mindset, and you're going to have a lot of resistance, and that resistance is keeping you down. That massa mentality, the way that master talked down to us so bad and beat us down into submission and really fueled our minds and our psyches with these beliefs that we can't amount to anything, that we can't achieve anything, that we're worthless, that we're no good, that we're stupid, we can't read this, and you're not allowed to learn. You're not allowed to be joyful. You're not, all of these things that have made us adapt to a certain way of living. And then, when you get the opportunity, you still are hit with so many systemic oppressions that it's no wonder you filled with hopelessness. It's no wonder you filled with helplessness. It's no wonder you filled with depression. It's no wonder you have paranoia, anxiety. Come on. It's no wonder. People need to see it. It's not a victim mentality. It's a victim reality, bruh. Like, real talk. Like, this is something that we go through. Start seeing it from our perspective and quiet your emotions down. Quiet your ego down. Quiet your mindset down. You have to do a lot of inner healing yourself to be able to see someone with compassion and empathy. To really see and feel what they go through. You can't give me no advice or information or prescriptions if you don't really truly see it from my perspective. Because the real medicine, the best medicine comes from somebody who knows what that pain feels like. To come from somebody who has actually healed that pain. And when you give me the solution from your pain, what worked for you, that is way more powerful than someone just concocting something in a lab from an experience that they know nothing about. That's why I always say, y'all better stop letting people who ain't been sick prescribe you medicine. Now, there is the mindset of, they're preventative. They know how to prevent something, which is true. But if you come from roots that have created the problem, how are you going to give me the solution? I don't know, bro. I'm just saying, as a black person, if you out there and you come from poverty, you come from a lot of, dysfunction, I want to let you know, don't hate those people. They did the best they could with what they had. This is generations of generations. And we are in a new time right now where a lot of people are shifting out of those dysfunctions and learning how to love themselves and who they've become through the storm, through the turmoil, through the chaos, how they have been created. Like, all of those things kind of made you into a product. And you have the right now to choose, are you going to stay this product, or are you going to keep some of it and let some of it go? Keep some of it, let some of it go. Because at the end of the day, you have that power. And that's all I wanted to say. I'm just really reflecting this morning on my healing journey. I've been going through so many things as a spiritual teacher, somebody who's trying to embark on this. I have a lot of resistance and a lot of fears, a lot of the ways that our people have been treated when they try to take roles of leadership and roles of, just encouragement and empowerment. There are fears that come from how we have been treated and how the media portrays it. And it's kind of like, look, we got another one. You defeated. You shouldn't even try. Don't even think about stepping out there the gate. Even though the door's always been open. Don't you even think about it. Because look what happened to that person. Look what happened to them when they got out the gate. Yeah, but look at the millions other ones that didn't have anything to do. And that's what I'm saying. When your mind is forced to be focused on negative, it's going to be stuck in a negative. And that's a lot of the manipulation around this world. But when you allow yourself to see a lot more Like I have a mantra. I choose to focus on the positive and not the negative. But as a spiritual activist, I'm somewhat forced to look into the negative, because that is my whole point, is I have to help you guys decode and decipher and detach from the things that are holding us down. So in that, I have to go in that. I'm being led to go in the dark and pull y'all out. So sometimes when I'm going in the dark to pull people out, it gets me. I get engulfed in it a little bit, and I'm having to learn ways of how to protect my energy and protect my spirit. When I feel empowered, I reflect a lot. And when I'm feeling aligned with my higher self, I reflect a lot. When I'm feeling more confident, I reflect a lot, because those are the things that I can go back to for reference to empower myself. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm going through it with you guys, and it's a journey. But I just want to reflect on that.